I heard the garage door open and knew Samuel was home from the awards ceremony. Our daughter Lily burst through the door first, clutching a gold trophy almost as tall as she was. "Mom, I won first place. Mr. Patterson said it was the best project he's seen in 15 years of teaching." I hugged her tight, genuinely thrilled. "That's amazing, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you." Our son Max came in next with a blue ribbon. "Second place in the junior division," he announced.
"My volcano actually worked this time," Samuel followed behind them, beaming like he'd just won an Olympic medal himself. "Both kids placing in the top 3, he said. "Pretty incredible." I told them dedication and hard work always pay off. I watched him set his keys on the counter and felt something cold settle in my chest. Dedication and hard work. Right. "Did you take photos?" I asked. "Tons," Samuel said, pulling out his phone.
"Got some great shots of me and the kids with their projects. The local paper was there too. They want to do a feature on our family and how we prioritize STEM education. Our family, how we prioritize STEM education." I dried my hands on a dish towel and looked at Lily's trophy sitting on the kitchen table. The project had been on water filtration systems in developing countries. I'd spent 6 weeks helping her research purification methods, test different materials, and build 3 working prototypes. We'd stayed up until midnight the night before the fair troubleshooting a leak in the final design. Samuel had shown up for the last hour to help carry everything to the car. Max's volcano had been my 3rd time building one. His older sister had done a volcano 4 years ago, and I'd learned from those mistakes. This time, I'd helped Max calculate the precise ratios of baking soda to vinegar for maximum eruption without overflow. We'd tested it 17 times in the backyard. Samuel had come outside once, told Max it looked good, and gone back to watching football. "Let me see the photos," I said. Samuel handed me his phone. I scrolled through image after image of him standing next to the kids and their projects, arm around their shoulders, smiling proudly. In every single photo, he looked like the involved parent who'd guided them through the scientific process. There wasn't a single picture of me. Not one. "These are nice," I said carefully. "You all look very happy." "We should frame some of these," Samuel said. "Maybe make a wall of achievement in the hallway." I handed back his phone without saying anything. That night, after the kids were asleep, Samuel told me about the newspaper interview scheduled for Thursday. "They want to talk about parental involvement in education," he said. "How we encourage curiosity and critical thinking. Should be good publicity." "Publicity for what?" I asked. "For us," he said. "Shows we're engaged parents. Plus, it might help with Max's middle school applications next year. Admissions offices love this kind of thing." I looked at him carefully. "And what exactly are you going to tell them about your involvement?" "What do you mean?" he asked.
"I mean, are you going to tell them the truth about who actually helped with these projects?" I said. Samuel's expression shifted to something defensive. "I helped. I was there." "You were there for photos," I said. "But you weren't there for the research, the building, the testing, the problem solving, or any of the actual work." "That's not fair," he said. "I supported them. I encouraged them. Supporting from the couch while I spent hours in the garage teaching them actual science isn't the same thing," I said. "Why are you being like this?" he asked. "The kids won. Isn't that what matters?" "What matters is honesty," I said, "and you standing in front of a reporter taking credit for work you didn't do is not honest." "I never said I did all the work," Samuel protested. "You didn't say I did any of it either," I replied. "When have you ever corrected anyone who assumed you were the involved parent?" He didn't answer. I went to bed angry and woke up the same way, but I didn't say anything more about it. What would be the point? Samuel had been doing this for years, taking credit for things he observed from a distance, accepting praise for achievements he barely contributed to. And I'd let it happen,
because pushing back always turned into an argument about me not appreciating his support or making him feel bad for working long hours. On Wednesday afternoon, Lily came to me looking confused. "Mom, Mr. Patterson wants me to put together a portfolio about my project. He says colleges like to see documentation of the whole process, not just the final result. He wants photos from every stage." "That's a great idea," I said. "Do you have photos?" "I have the ones from the fair," she said, "but he wants to see research, prototypes, testing, all of it. He said it shows scientific method in action." I thought about this. I might have some photos. Let me check. I pulled out my phone and opened my camera roll. I'd taken pictures throughout the entire process because I liked documenting the kids' learning. There were dozens of photos spanning 6 weeks. Lily and me at the library looking through water quality research papers. Lily and me in the garage building the first prototype. Lily and me testing filtration rates with different materials. Lily and me adjusting the design after the first prototype failed. Over and over, the photos showed the two of us working together. There was one photo of Samuel in the entire series, taken when he'd brought us sandwiches one Saturday afternoon. He was visible in the background, not even looking at the project. I showed Lily the photos. "Oh, wow," she said. "I forgot we took so many." She scrolled through them slowly, then stopped. "Dad's not in any of these." "He was busy with work," I said carefully. "But he came to the fair," Lily said. "He's in all those photos with my trophy." "Yes," I agreed. "He did come to the fair." Lily looked at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. "Mr. Patterson specifically said he wants to see who helped with the project. He wants to know who taught me the science." I waited. "It was you," Lily said quietly, "the whole time. Dad didn't actually help with any of this, did he?" I chose my words carefully. "Your dad supports you in many ways, but for this specific project, yes, most of the hands-on help came from me. But he's doing an interview about how our family prioritizes science education," Lily said. "He told me he's going to talk about encouraging critical thinking and supporting our interests." "What do you want to do about that?" I asked. Lily thought for a moment. "I want to tell the truth. If I'm putting together a portfolio for Mr. Patterson, I should be honest about who actually helped me. That's what integrity means, right? You taught me that." "Right," I said. "That's exactly what integrity means." The next day was Thursday, the day of the newspaper interview. Samuel had arranged for it to happen at our house after school so the kids could be photographed with their projects. I'd planned to make myself scarce, maybe run errand while they did the interview, but when I started to leave, Lily stopped me. "Mom, you should stay. You're part of this too." "The reporter wants to talk to your dad," I said. "But you're the one who actually helped us," Max chimed in. Lily showed me all the photos from her project. I looked at mine too. "You're in every single one of them. Dad's not in any of them." Samuel was in the living room and couldn't hear this conversation, but I could see the tension in both kids' faces. "What do you two want to do?" I asked. "We want to tell the truth," Lily said firmly. "Mr. Patterson is using my project as an example for his other students. If other kids think a parent just shows up at the end and takes photos, that's not teaching them real science. Real science is all the work before the photos." I felt a surge of pride mixed with apprehension. "Okay, then you tell your truth. I'll stay." The reporter arrived at 4. Her name was Jennifer Chen, and she had a photographer with her. Samuel greeted them enthusiastically and started giving them a tour of the kids' projects, now set up in our dining room. "As you can see, we really emphasize hands-on learning in this family," Samuel was saying. "I believe kids learn best by doing, not just reading about concepts." Jennifer was taking notes. "And you personally helped with both projects?" "Absolutely," Samuel said. "I was involved every step of the way." I was standing in the kitchen doorway and Lily looked at me. I gave her a small nod.
Actually, Lily said, that's not exactly true. Samuel's head snapped toward her. What? You weren't involved every step of the way, Lily said. Her voice was shaking slightly, but she kept going. You came to the science fair and took photos, but you didn't help with the research or building or testing. Mom did all of that. Jennifer stopped writing and looked between Samuel and Lily with interest. I have photos, Lily continued. She pulled out her phone, which I'd helped her load with the documentation earlier. Mr. Patterson asked me to create a portfolio showing the whole scientific process. These are from every stage of my project. She handed her phone to Jennifer. The reporter scrolled through the images slowly. Her expression shifted from curious to understanding. These are all of you and your mother, Jennifer observed. Yes, Lily said.
Mom helped me find research papers about water quality in developing countries. She taught me how to read scientific studies and understand the data. She showed me how to design and experiment with controls. She helped me build 3 different prototypes. When the first 2 didn't work, she helped me figure out why and how to improve them. We spent 6 weeks working together almost every night. Samuel's face had gone red. Lily, you're embarrassing me. I'm telling the truth, Lily said.
You told me honesty was important. You told me integrity matters. Was that true or not? Max stepped forward. It's the same with my volcano. I have photos too. Mom helped me calculate the ratios. She helped me understand the chemical reaction. She helped me test it 17 times until it worked perfectly. Dad watched football. Jennifer was writing rapidly now. Her photographer had started taking pictures of the kids with their projects, notably without Samuel in the frame.
Mr. Samuel, Jennifer said carefully, it sounds like there might have been some miscommunication about your level of involvement. There's no miscommunication, I said, stepping into the room.
My husband had minimal involvement in either project. He provided financial support by paying for materials. He offered occasional verbal encouragement. He showed up for the final event and posed for photos, but he did not teach them science. He did not help them research, experiment, build, or problem solve. I did those things. Samuel turned to me, furious. You're making me look bad in front of a reporter. No, I said. You made yourself look bad by claiming credit for work you didn't do. I'm just correcting the record. This is humiliating, Samuel said. Yes, I agreed. It is. Now you know how I've felt for years watching you accept praise for things I did while I stayed invisible in the background. Jennifer looked fascinated. Mrs. Samuel, can you tell me about your background? Do you have science training? I have a PhD in biochemistry, I said. I worked in pharmaceutical research for 8 years before we had kids. I left my career to be a full-time parent, but I never lost my love of science. Teaching my children has been one of the greatest joys of my life. And you've helped with all their school projects? Jennifer asked. Every single one, I said.
Science fairs, history presentations, book reports, math competitions. I'm the homework help. I'm the project advisor. I'm the one teaching them how to think critically and solve problems. Jennifer turned to Samuel. And what's your educational background, Mr. Samuel? I have an MBA, Samuel said tightly. I work in finance. So you don't have science training, Jennifer said. It wasn't quite a question. No, Samuel admitted, but I support my kids' education. From a distance, Lily said. Dad, you do support us. You pay for things. You come to events. You tell us you're proud. But you don't actually teach us anything. Mom does that. The photographer was still taking pictures. I realized this interview had gone completely off the rails from what Samuel had intended, and I felt no sympathy whatsoever. Can I see the photos from the science fair? Jennifer asked. Samuel reluctantly pulled out his phone and handed it over. Jennifer scrolled through them, then showed them to the photographer. These are all of you with the kids and their finished projects, she observed, but there's not a single photo of the mother who actually did the work. I didn't think about it, Samuel said weakly.
You never do, I said. That's the problem. You never think about who's actually doing the work. You just show up for the glory and assume that's enough. Max spoke up again. Mr. Patterson asked us to write about what we learned from the science fair project. I was going to write about the volcano and the chemical reaction, but I think I actually learned something more important. What's that? Jennifer asked. I learned that taking credit for someone else's work is wrong, Max said. Even if that person is your mom and she doesn't complain about it, even if you convince yourself that supporting from far away is the same as actually helping, it's still wrong. Samuel looked at our 10-year-old son like he'd been slapped. Jennifer was smiling now. I think this is a much better story than what I came here to write. What did you come here to write? I asked. A puff piece about an involved dad who helps with science projects, Jennifer said. What I'm actually going to write is a piece about a mother with a PhD who left her career to raise kids, continued teaching them advanced science despite having no professional outlet for her expertise, and then watched her husband take credit for her work. I'm going to write about children who learned integrity by calling out that behavior. And I'm going to write about how we need to re-examine our assumptions about which parent is involved in education. Samuel stood up abruptly. I don't consent to this interview anymore. You don't have to consent, Jennifer said. Your children already told me their story. Your wife confirmed it. Everything they said is verifiable through documentation. I have photos, I have their testimony, and I have your own admission that you have no science background and minimal involvement. That's called journalism. Samuel looked at me desperately. Tell her this is off the record. No, I said. I won't, because everything said here today was true, and I'm tired of living in a version of reality where you get credit for my work. This will make me look terrible, Samuel said. Then maybe you should have been a better partner, I replied. Samuel grabbed his jacket and stormed out. We heard his car start and the sound of him driving away too fast. Jennifer looked at me. Are you okay? I'm better than okay, I said. I'm finally being honest. The article ran the following Tuesday. It was titled The Invisible Parent, How One Mother's Science Expertise Goes Unrecognized While Her Husband Takes Credit. It was long, detailed, and fair. Jennifer had included quotes from both kids explaining exactly how much help I'd provided. She'd included my credentials and my work history. She'd included the photos showing me at every stage of the projects. She'd also included Samuel's quotes about being involved every step of the way, and noted the stark contrast between his claims and the documented reality. The piece ended with a question. How many mothers are doing the intellectual and educational labor in their homes while fathers show up for photo opportunities and accept the credit? The response was overwhelming. The article was shared thousands of times on social media. Other mothers started posting their own stories of doing unseen educational work while their partners took credit. A local news station called asking if I'd be willing to do a follow-up interview. 3 different schools asked if I'd be interested in teaching science enrichment classes. And Mr. Patterson called to ask if I'd be willing to mentor other parents who wanted to help their kids with science projects, but didn't know where to start. Samuel stayed at a hotel for 3 days before coming home. When he finally walked in, he looked exhausted. We need to talk, he said. Yes, I agreed. We do. We sat in the living room, the same room where the interview had imploded his carefully constructed image. I was wrong, he said, about taking credit, about not acknowledging your work, about all of it. Yes, I said. You were. I convinced myself that providing for the family financially was enough, he continued. That being present for the final moments counted as being involved. I didn't see all the hours you put in because I didn't want to see them. It was easier to just accept the credit and move on. Why? I asked. Why was it easier? Because admitting you were doing all that work would mean admitting I wasn't, he said. And I've built my entire self-image around being a good father, a present father. But I'm not, am I? I'm a father who shows up for the highlights and ignores the actual work. I didn't contradict him. What do you want to do about it? I asked. I want to change, he said. Actually change, not just say I will. I want to learn how to help with homework. I want to understand the projects the kids are working on. I want to be the parent who teaches them things, not just the one who pays for things. That would require effort, I said. Real effort, not just good intentions. I know, he said. And I don't trust you yet, I continued. You've spent years taking credit for my work. You've let me stay invisible while you collected praise. That doesn't go away because you had one moment of realization after being publicly embarrassed. I understand, Samuel said. What would it take for you to trust me again? I thought about this carefully. Consistency. If you're going to help with homework, you need to help every week, not just when it's convenient. If you're going to be involved in their education, you need to learn what they're actually studying. And most importantly, when someone praises you for being an involved parent, you need to correct them. You need to say, actually, my wife does most of the educational work. She's the one with the expertise. I can do that, he said. We'll see, I said. Over the next several months, Samuel did try. He started sitting with Max during homework time, actually helping instead of just telling him to focus. He asked Lily about her classes and what she was learning. When Max's teacher complimented Samuel at a parent-teacher conference about how well Max was doing in math, I watched Samuel carefully. He hesitated for just a moment, and I could see him fighting the urge to accept the compliment. Then he said, "Thank you, but that's really because of my wife. She's been teaching him problem-solving strategies. She's the one who deserves credit." It was a small moment, but it mattered. The local news did eventually do their follow-up interview, but they interviewed me alone. I talked about the importance of recognizing all forms of parental involvement, especially the invisible labor that happens away from cameras and accolades. I talked about mothers who leave careers but maintain their expertise. I talked about the need to question our assumptions about which parent is doing the work. The segment ended with footage of me in the garage with both kids working on a new project for the school's engineering competition. No trophies yet, no awards, no glory. Just the three of us testing circuit boards and troubleshooting design problems. Just the actual work of teaching and learning. Samuel watched the segment from the couch. When it ended, he looked at me. That's what it really looks like, isn't it? Not photos with trophies, just hours in the garage getting your hands dirty. That's what it really looks like, I confirmed. I'm sorry I never saw it before, he said. I'm sorry it took public humiliation for you to see it, I replied, but I'm glad you see it now. He nodded and went to help Max with his math homework. I stayed on the couch for a few more minutes, thinking about everything that had changed. I'd spent years making myself invisible to avoid conflict, to keep the peace, to let Samuel feel good about himself. And all it had cost me was my own recognition, my own credit, my own visibility. But I wasn't invisible anymore, and I would never make myself small again just to make someone else comfortable. The kids had learned something important from all of this too. They'd learned that integrity sometimes means speaking uncomfortable truths, that honesty matters more than keeping up appearances, that the person doing the work deserves the credit. Those were better lessons than any science project could teach, and those lessons came from me.
You've just stepped into her revenge side, where every wound finds its justice, and every silence ends with truth. If her story struck a chord, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these stories alive. Another secret waits in the next video. See how her revenge begins.